Hi guys, it's Nick Davenport here from Mind Body One, and amongst the tragic news of the shooting of Daunte Wright by Officer Kim Potter, there's been a lot of uproar. Now, typically, this is nothing new with the recent events with Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and many others, and the argument is usually political. Black versus white, right versus wrong, Democrat versus Republican, anti-gun versus gun. But let's take all that off the table right now, and let's look at it from a mental and psychological perspective. Now, I'm not here to argue talking points and see who's right or wrong, but I want to take a look that's not often seen when dealing with these types of cases in law enforcement. Oftentimes, they look at, was the person good enough for the job? Were they a bad officer, a bad apple, as people say? But sometimes we got to look deeper than that. And not a lot of research has gone into just seeing what are the cognitive and mental processes going on when these officers are in a life or death or an active shooter or any type of incident that will get their stress levels through the roof, and they can make not the best decisions. Now, this is not to justify anyone's doings, because at the end of the day, I don't know the full details of the case and how it all transpired other than what the video showed. Now, my point is looking at where it could have been broken down by officers knowing in the midst of things, being able to process information quickly, because 2 seconds can be a mighty long time or a very short time depending on who it is and how you look at it. Now, some people, over repetition, you can say training, but the question is, what exactly are they training? We can practice shooting at targets. You can practice talking to people calmly, de-escalation, but the space between your ears, the brain, that's going to make the final call. And how you're able to process working memory load, emotional regulation, parasympathetic response. These are the things that's going to help. Not saying it's going to be end all be all, but help the law enforcement officer be able to do what's needed. Because when we talk about the placement of a taser versus a gun, these are very minute things when you think about it. But in the heat of the moment, who knows what could go wrong? And in this case, unfortunately, a 20-year-old man lost his life. Now, I'm going to show some details of a drill that I came up with that can maybe address some things to work on the working memory and cognitive and mental aspects as well as psychological, because in these drills, you're not only just reacting, you have to think under pressure, and then you have to be in your own thoughts and be calm and relaxed, but that's a lot to ask for. So relax doesn't necessarily mean being, oh, nothing's wrong. It's more so being able to be in my own head and make the right decisions when I need to get my mind right. So check it out. Here we have a setup of a police officer's belt with the taser facing outward on the left side while the gun is on the right. See, I have the same setup with the taser on the left that's facing outward, because if it's a right-hand shooter, I need to cross over and grab it quickly, while the Glock 17 replica is on my right side. Now, this is the setup of a right-handed shooter. Now, as first drill, red represents gun and blue represents taser. As the light flash, it'll dictate which weapon do I pull out. The goal of this is to using that working memory load, a low load at that, to be able to process information and make the directed action. The next progression requires adding up sums. Now, red equals 1, blue equals 2. When all the lights are presented, I have to quickly add up what the total equals. Now, if it's an even sum, then I pull out the taser. If it's an odd sum, I take the shot with the gun. This makes me have to be able to factor what's going on, external stimuli, but still dictate what I need to do to make the right decision. Studies have shown when under stress, working memory load is impacted. What this means is the more tension and anxiety that the person perceives, the less room they have and capacity they have to make right decisions under pressure. Now, the goal and purpose of these drills is to overload the participant with stimuli, so they have to be forced to make these quick decisions with the added pressure. Now, they practice these motions so they can get familiar with what having to do while that induced stress is upon them. While we cannot simulate an actual shooter situation, we can simulate the stressors involved with it to get their mind right. In this drill, red means shoot, blue means pull out taser, so I have to quickly change depending on what color is shown. So I'm taking the shot now if it's red, and if it's blue, I pull out my taser and aim and scan.
Taser.